If you had the power to share an idea with 1 million people, would they agree with you? Let's take a very underestimated assumption that only 1% would agree with your idea. That makes 10,000 people on your side. If we made that 10%, you would have 100,000 people on your side. Now imagine the power that is held by influential people who have millions of followers. The percentage of people who would get influenced by them would be much higher than 10%. But how does power work? Let's look at the global stage. Since many centuries, the only way of dominating the world was either through brute force in the form of military power or through financial means. If you look at the past few centuries, whenever there was a rise of a power that became a global hegemony, it made its own currency the reserve currency of the world, and its military was the strongest at its time. Later came the next power which replaced the previous power, usually through a revolution. The end result of this would be a new global hegemony and a new reserve currency. After World War II, US became the new global hegemony. US dollars are the world's reserve currency and US has the strongest military in the world. But amidst all the brute force methods of consolidating power and dominating the world came a new means: soft power. Unlike violent means of consolidating power, soft power works on a more peaceful approach. Instead of physically pushing someone down, you work on their mind. You influence them by making your culture, your political views, and other attributes attractive. The best way to make something attractive is to make it familiar. A person will prefer a familiar principle over an unfamiliar one. But how can we achieve this practically? One way is to increase people's interaction with your culture and political views. This can be by slowly showcasing the views through various media, such as films, music, art, and literature. The plan is simple. People come for entertainment and leave with an understanding of your views. They leave with an understanding of why you believe what you believe. And as you let more people view this, over time you start to slowly change their worldview. You change what they feel is right and wrong. Since they have interacted with your media and love it, there is a level of trust that they have on you. It gives you the power to influence their views and decisions. But what if a country's government intentionally or unintentionally promoted their own art, music, and films? This could give them access to millions of people who have trust in the content they are consuming, access to people who come for entertainment but leave with your ideas. In South Korea, when Hollywood films were heavily dominating the box office, something had to be done to protect the domestic film industry. In an attempt to save the South Korean film industry from outside competition, the South Korean government introduced a quota system where foreign films would be restricted and could only be shown in a select number of cinemas. But this policy was not liked by the US. Thus, South Korea had to cancel this policy. What followed was a crash of the viewership of South Korean film. The situation had gotten so bad that the film Jurassic Park had earned more money from South Korea than 1 million Hyundai vehicles would bring. The South Korean government knew that something had to change. So they created the Ministry of Culture and invested money into the media industry. Films and music were supported by the government. This boost was enough to not only dominate the local market but to show tough competition internationally. This led to a wave of South Korean culture that entered the rest of the world. This wave was called the Hallyu. Fast forward to 2021 and we have BTS, which is not only the top band in South Korea but is heavily dominating international markets with millions of listeners. South Korean drama or kdrama is giving a tough fight to movies and series internationally. The Netflix series Squid Game became immensely popular. The aim behind this South Korean wave was to give the world exposure to South Korean pop culture, language, and values. And have they succeeded in this goal? Let's find out. In 2021, Korean became the 5th most popular language on the language learning app called Duolingo. As part of India's National Education Policy 2020, Korean was added as an option for second language. The public opinion of South Korea worldwide has improved. There has been an increase in exports from South Korea that is valued at billions of dollars. K-pop now contributes over $12 billion to the South Korean economy. Korean cuisine is becoming more mainstream with many hotels offering Korean options. The South Korean band BTS songs are heard by about 22% of all listeners. And in the newly discovered artists of Spotify, 25% of discoveries were of BTS. As South Korean culture has become more mainstream and influences millions of people around the world, we should remember this gives South Korea the power to influence global opinion, to influence views and ideas. But this is not something that is wrong. Every country has the right to promote its own culture and views. What is important is that we must realize the immense influence this has worldwide. If another country wanted to influence decisions worldwide, they would need to turn to means of military or financial power. But South Korea has the potential to do this just by introducing an idea in a song or drama. Remember the example at the start of the video? The influence that Korean entertainment holds would cause a good percentage of viewers to accept different ideas and views. They have the power to plant new ideas and change our worldview. It's very simple and very effective. This video isn't targeting South Korea, BTS or K-pop. This was just an insight into the immense soft power that South Korea holds. They have immense influence over the age group of 18 to 24 years. They haven't gotten this influence without quality, creativity and hard work. But at the same time, we must realize the implications of this massive soft power. I'm not telling you to avoid South Korean entertainment. Just be more aware. Think about any new ideas you get. You don't need to outright accept or reject every idea. Some critical thinking can definitely help. That was it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching today's video. Do share your opinion about South Korea's immense soft power in the comment section below. Share this video with any of your friends, especially those who enjoy South Korean entertainment, so even they get the opportunity to think about this. Do like if you got to learn something new, and for more such videos, subscribe to stay informed.